This is Autoline Daily, the show dedicated to enthusiasts of the global automotive industry. The UAW and the Detroit 3 automakers still haven't reached a deal on a new contract, so it's likely that the union will expand the strike starting at noon today. And we're recording this before Shawn Fain's live stream at 10 a.m. But new leaked messages obtained by the Detroit News have auto executives concerned. The UAW's communications director wrote in a private group chat on X, formerly Twitter, that the union is aiming to inflict reputational damage on the automakers and that it wants to, quote, keep them wounded for months. The messages also indicate that the UAW is ditching its pattern bargaining strategy it has used in the past, where it makes a deal with one automaker to set the tone with the other two. Instead, the UAW wants to turn the automakers against one another to get the best deal for its members. Ford, GM, and Stellantis released statements saying they're disappointed about what was said in the messages and question whether the union is bargaining in good faith. The negotiations have already been contentious, and this is creating even more bad blood. Earlier this year, the EU carved out an exemption of its ICE ban to allow vehicles to run on e-fuel after 2035. But Reuters reports that the EU will set strict rules for cars running on e-fuels. It's proposing to require them to run on 100% carbon-neutral e-fuels, meaning they can't have any climate impact. It would also require automakers to prevent vehicles from starting if it's filled with a non-carbon neutral fuel. But there's already pushback for the proposal. The E-Fuel Alliance says it's nearly impossible for a 100% reduction in emissions and that the proposal would still effectively ban ICE engines from 2035. Used car prices have soared in the U.S. the past several years due to shortages of new vehicles caused by pandemic shutdowns, which pushed consumers into the used market and drove up prices. And a new study from iSeeCars.com found that it's forcing used car buyers to purchase even older models. In 2019, you could buy a 3-year-old car for $23,000, but that same amount today is not enough to buy an average 6-year-old car. The study analyzed 21 million used cars from 2019 to 2023 and found that the average age of a used car rose from 4.8 to 6.1 years and that the average price increased from $20,400 to just over $27,000, an increase of a third. There's 28% fewer 1 to 3-year-old used cars on the road today than there were in 2019, because of those production disruptions from a few years ago. And a correction here. Yesterday I reported that a UAW strike at a ZF plant that makes axles for Mercedes could shut down the Mercedes plant in Alabama. We've since learned that the ZF plant is still making axles, and so that could prevent any disruption in production for Mercedes. Only some of the workers in that ZF plant belong to the union, and the rest of them are still at work. Toyota thinks it can sell a lot more electric cars than it currently does. Last year, Toyota and Lexus sold less than 25,000 EVs globally, but the Nikkei newspaper reports that Toyota wants to ramp up production to nearly 200,000 electrics by next year and more than 600,000 by 2025. And it doesn't stop. In 2026, it plans to make 1.5 million EVs and 3.5 million, or a third of its sales, by 2030. That's a massive jump in a short amount of time, so we should expect to see a lot of investments into plants over the next couple of years. It will also require more than the 3 models it has now, and Toyota teased it will expand its Beyond Zero, or BZ naming structure, with the BZ compact SUV. The concept was revealed last November, and it will slot below the BZ4X. It strongly suggests this will be the next electric Toyota is coming out with, and we suspect the exterior styling won't be that far off from the concept. Honda is strengthening its performance capabilities. Honda Performance Development, which is located in the U.S., is now going to be known as Honda Racing Corporation USA. Honda Racing Corporation is the same name for its performance arm in Japan, and the two will combine their expertise and resources to expand Honda's motorsports capabilities, and that includes Formula One. The new HRC-US will be involved in engine development and race support starting in 2026, which is when Honda will become the official engine supplier to the Aston Martin racing team. Honda currently supplies engines to the championship-leading Red Bull F1 team. Volkswagen's improvements to its electric MEB platform are starting to trickle down through its brands. Audi is launching the updated Q4 e-tron SUV, which used to be just known as the E-Tron. It receives the same in-house developed electric motor that was first shown for the VW ID.7 sedan. It makes 210 kilowatts or 286 horsepower, and when bolted to the rear axle, it provides acceleration from 0 to 100 kilometers an hour in 6.7 seconds. Another big improvement is in the charging. It goes from a base of 135 kilowatts up to 175 kilowatts for all-wheel drive models, which allows it to charge from 10 to 80% in 28 minutes. Audi also updated the suspension and steering, made its digital display standard, and even added the option for a unique character sound. All EVs have to make a noise up to 25 kilometers an hour or just over 15 miles an hour for safety reasons. And Audi says the sound for the Q4 e-tron will be different from any other electric, even its own other models. The updated model starts going on sale next week in Europe with a starting price of roughly 53,000 euros or about $56,500. BMW Motorrad, the company's motorcycle division, has stopped all sales of its motorcycles in the US, including used models, with the exception of one. It's all-electric CEO4. The company released a statement saying there's an issue with the fuel system, which affects both new and older models. BMW says the problem isn't safety-related and owners can continue riding their bikes, which suggests it's an emissions problem. The company says the stop sale is temporary, but it did not give a timetable to when it will start selling ICE motorcycles again. The CEO4 is the only electric motorcycle that BMW sells in North America, and it features a 31 kilowatt or 42 horsepower motor, and it has a top speed of 75 miles an hour. That's it for today. Thanks for watching, and I hope that you have a great weekend.
Autoline Daily is brought to you by Bridgestone, solutions for your journey. Intrepid Control Systems, over-the-air engineering, boost your game. Scheffler, we pioneer motion. And by Teijin Automotive Technologies, the formula for better mobility. We want to know what drives your testing. OTA, connected car, diagnostics, remote testing. Intrepid Control Systems is here to help you work from anywhere. Intrepid Control Systems, driven by your data.
At Scheffler, we pioneer motion. Electrifying mobility. Manufacturing smarter. Reducing CO2 emissions. Making energy production clean. Scheffler pioneers motion to advance how the world moves.
At Teijin Automotive Technologies, we combine world-class composite materials expertise with cutting-edge designs because, frankly, there are better ways to lightweight vehicles. So lighten up with Teijin Automotive Technologies, the formula for better mobility.
Wards is the industry leader for news, data, and analysis. That's why companies across the globe subscribe to our premium service, maybe even your own. Log in for subscriber access now. Check your company's intranet for details and rely on wardsauto.com to keep you informed.